Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel. In this video we're going to be reacting to 5 summer objects I only encountered after moving to America. And yet again it is another video by Lost in the Pond, so if you'd like to check out the original video it will be in the description below. But before we get into this reaction, I have to quickly state that 95% of you guys who are currently watching my content are not subscribed, and if you do enjoy what I do, it would mean a lot if you just hit the subscribe button, as it's quick, easy and completely free, and honestly it means a lot. And if you'd like to show a bit more appreciation, that would be amazing. All you'd have to do is like the video and comment down below, get that audience engagement up, and hopefully it'll get recommended to more people and help build the little community that we're trying to build here. But without further ado, let's get it in with this reaction. Lego.
These ice cubes are a lifesaver when you run out at parties, and they're made by wizards. Hello, I'm Lawrence, and I'm on a quest to uncover all of the memos that Britain and America lost in the pond, and one of those memos pertains to things, objects, stuff, particularly summer stuff. 42 years ago, in the winter of 2020, I did a video about 5 winter objects that I only encountered after moving to America. And this video serves as its summer counterpart. And as was the case with that video, I'll not be including food items. That's its own video, right? Just wanted to make that clear for people like Uncle Toby. Basically, man-made objects that are associated with the summer. And as we go through this list, keep in mind that some of these things might have a presence in Britain. It's just that either A, I was sheltered, or B, they're shown more prominently in America. And so, without further ado, let's take a look at 5 summer objects that I only encountered after moving to America.
Here we go. And there's always an advert straight there. Let's go. Overhead fans, that is very true. I remember watching a video on that, I don't know when, a while back, and I didn't understand them, but then obviously, you know, I've never had them.
I think it's fair to say that I have a love-hate relationship with ceiling fans. Now, when I say overhead fans, I'm not referring to Lost in the Pond supporters who sit in the rafters at the live events that I don't have. I'm referring to fans on the ceiling. In British homes, they're exceedingly rare, whereas in America, I've yet to enter a house that doesn't have one. And that includes my mansion that has about 3. It's not a mansion. First of all, when you're a YouTube sensation, the last thing you need in your studio is an overhead fan, because it messes up your hair and your voice. I realise that this is a niche problem and that certain people need to check themselves before they wreck themselves. But the other first world problem that they produce is I never know how many times to pull the string. Apparently on most units it's 3, and this is the sort of thing they should tell you at customs when you first arrive. Are you travelling with family? Are you here on business? Oh, and by the way, pull it 3 times and not 4, you numpty. But I said it's a love-hate relationship.
I didn't even know that. Didn't even know you had to put it a certain amount of times.
Whereas Lost in the Pond fans cheer me up. Overhead fans cool me down. And this is particularly useful when your studio doesn't have one of these.
Aircon.
I'll admit
I would love some aircon right now. It may not be that hot. Well, it is pretty hot for England right now. It's currently 22, 23 degrees Celsius, which is quite hot over here, to be honest. Well, it's probably hot where you're from if you're watching this from another country, but you got to remember it's extremely humid here, so it's not a nice heat. It's just sweaty. It is horrible. If you go to like somewhere like South Africa, yeah, it's hotter, but it's just a heat. So depends what you like, I guess. I'd rather have just heat than I'm all clammy and sweaty, and I don't like it. Don't have a choice in the matter.
when I
So
first
aircon would be nice right now.
heard about America's propensity for using air conditioning, I thought it was weird. Why would you want that blowing through your home when you can just crack open a window and hear the sounds of nature? And I thought it was particularly unusual that anybody would want to partially obscure their window with this big box.
Ooh, that does not look very nice.
We want to see outside. We want to see what that chaffinch is up to. We want to see if it's a light drizzle or a heavy downpour. We want to see the joggers. So I thought
Exactly.
It was as weird as the next person, and then I met the next person. His name was Mick from Stockport. And Mick from Stockport had never actually left Stockport, but he had all kinds of views about the rest of the world, including America. And he absolutely lamented the artificial nature of American air conditioning. 2 weeks later, he died of heat stroke. Mick is, like any other British person I talk about on this channel, entirely fictional. But he was as stubborn as I was when it came to air conditioning. We just don't have it in UK homes. But after moving to America, I saw the error of my ways. If you saw my recent video on how British heat waves ain't got nothing on America, you might have a clue as to why the absence
I definitely need to check that video out. Definitely.
of them would constitute a public health hazard. In many parts of the US, it's extremely common for the summer temperature to rise above 90 degrees Fahrenheit. The simple truth is, in July,
What is that in Celsius? I do not know Fahrenheit.
an American home wouldn't be fit for humans were it not for the installation of AC. Also, it does help that my cat has an aircon obsession.
It's rather noisy though. That sounded very noisy. I say that some houses do have aircon here, but it's normally just for conservatories, just because like it's just a heat beacon, and it's just like having a greenhouse in your house. Just it's so hot.
Don't get me wrong, in the UK, inflatable mattresses are as popular as inflatable people.
Very
You
true.
sometimes use them both at the same time. But in
No.
my experience, British people draw the line at using them while camping. That's the blow-up mattresses, not so much the other one. In America, they have a term for this. It's called glamping. Glamping is an example of a poor man's toe, or as it says in my dictionary, a portmanteau. It just means glamorous camping, and I was introduced to this concept by none other than old-fashioned AF, my wife.
So make sure you sign up as soon as you're finished watching this video.
In the height of summer, we went a-camping in southern Indiana, and I prepared myself for days on end for the enormous back pain I would feel afterward. See, this is what British campers do. We gear ourselves for a night or two of blissful torture. And this was the illusion.
I actually quite like sleeping on the floor, though it does hurt my back. It depends how you prepare yourself. You can get like a thick roll mat, or you can get like, what are they called? Inflatable pads? Sleeping pads? They're not very thick, but it's just to make it flat, so if you're like laying on rocks or something, obviously you aim to pitch up in a flat spot, but it just helps.
I'd afforded myself on this visit to southern Indiana, right down to the moment that I put the last peg in the ground. And then my wife surprised me by pulling from the van an inflatable mattress and 2 pillows and a headboard and a dressing table. And it filled me with dread
What?
because I'd just signed a lease elsewhere. But also because it made me panic that my wife wasn't who I thought she was. But it turns out that this is quite normal in America. People here don't go camping to recreate the living conditions of Neanderthals. They do it to sit around campfires and eat s'mores and play songs. So whatever you learn from the 1999 American documentary The Blair Witch Project, forget it, that's old news. Now maybe I'm becoming Americanized. Over time I've become comfortable with America's obsession with being comfortable. That's probably why when it comes to my new house, I want to add one of these. I'm going to go out on a limb here with no data to back up what I'm about to say. Per household, America has way more front porches than Britain. I've been to various
Yes.
parts of the United States, and having done so, one thing stands out as a constant among its streets. Friends and families getting hammered on the front porch. In Britain, we must like our privacy, because if we have porches, they tend to be in the back garden /
Yeah,
yard.
that's
Either way,
true.
there's one element of porches that I didn't encounter until moving to America. Swing benches. Again, that's not to say we don't have them in Britain, they're just more prevalent in America, and again, I don't have data to back that up. It's an observation. I've now lived in the US for about a third of my life, and in that time you do get a good sense for America's furniture choices. And if it turns out that my observation is numerically incorrect, the wife and I will be more than happy to tip the scales back in America's favour. That was just an excuse to show you my empty front porch. I should have played it cool, much like this. If you take a knife and try to cut an ice cube in half, you might have A, a mess, and B, a perfect metaphor for the final entry on our list. In other words, this is 2 entries in one. It can shatter everything Americans hold dear when they
To be fair, I have seen big ice containers in America. I haven't been to America, but like in videos of like YouTubers I've watched or movies, they always have like a bit around the back of the store where it's just ice, which is amazing. I like bagged ice here. I don't know why. If anybody could explain this to me, that would be very nice. But why does bagged ice take longer to melt than normal ice you make yourself? Like, you know, pour water in an ice tray and you put it in your freezer. It melts so quickly, but bagged ice, I don't know if they've put something else in the water before freezing that makes it last longer. I don't know, and it kind of confuses me, and I don't like that. But we do move. But yeah, if you could explain that to me in the comment section down below, much appreciated.
Discover that British people, on the whole, don't put ice cubes in their water. And
I do. Yeah, but then again, I like to eat ice, so that's not a good thing to do. So don't do that. Don't do that. It messes up your teeth.
perhaps this creates an illusion that British people eschew ice cubes altogether, but that couldn't be further from the truth. We do sometimes put them in water, but also Pims, mostly that. And growing up in Britain, in my family, we had one of those ice trays that you fill with water and put in the freezer. In fact, this is something that Americans, the British, and people the world over have in common. But I was 26 years old when I discovered that you could buy pre-made ice cubes in a bag. These ice cubes are a lifesaver when you run out at parties, and they're made by wizards. And it just happens that my discovery of them came about in America. This is an example of me living a sheltered life, because it turns out you can absolutely get them in Britain. They're just not displayed as prominently. I'm mostly talking about gas stations. One thing you'll notice when you drive into BP, ironically British Petroleum, is that outside of them they feature subtly decorated ice cube vendors. So if you're hosting a party that night and you're running a bit behind, don't go to Walmart, go to BP and get everything you need. That's it for this episode. I'm going to go through to the next room, strip down to my underpants and stand in front of the AC.
Fair enough. I wish I could do the same, but I can't. Anyway guys, if you did enjoy that video, don't forget to leave a like and a comment down below, as trust me, that means a lot. And if you'd like to show your appreciation even more, if you could hit that subscribe button. Again, it's quick, easy, and completely free, and it honestly helps more than you realise. So yeah, I hope you're having a great and splendid day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.